Now, before we go, let's bring you some entertainment after the heaviness of the last 24 hours of news in our country. Just know that it was supposed to be a big weekend in Soweto, Zola to be specific, and that's because kwaito legend Sandile Ngwenya, better known as Mapaputsi, was hosting his birthday celebrations. But it was planned not to be all about him, the kwaito star giving back to some of the schools he attended while growing up, something he's passionate about. And to cap it all, the who's who of the entertainment industry expected to be there to perform with him. Well, Mapaputsi joins us now in studio for more on that. Thank you so much for your time and for coming in. First things first, you were speaking to us today because this festival was going to be taking place tomorrow. But you know it's been pouring in Joburg.
Weather, we can't
Absolutely. So tell us what's been decided and give the people information they need.
We decided to postpone it to next month on the 21st due to weather. You know, today we hand over school uniforms and parcels to the schools. That was very important. But we told ourselves, no, let's not rush things and then let's wait for next month because of it's raining.
Yeah,
everywhere.
And let's talk about that festival. I mean, if you look at this poster, if our guys can give us a big shot there, we can't really zoom in, but the names, the list of legends on that list just goes on forever. Give us some highlights of who you think will be the main highlights and why it was important to get all of those big names to get together for such a good cause.
To remind the 2020s about us. And then because of they don't know Mdu, they don't know Mandoza, they don't know Mapaputsi, they don't know Skumba, they don't know. So now we said to ourselves, no, let's show people where we come from and remind them, and let's combine together. I brought the artists together so that we can be one, because we were one nation.
There was a lot of excitement in the office with the news that you were going to be there, but I think that was more a reflection of the average age in our office, because we are all of the age where kwaito was the jam, wasn't it?
We liberated the country at the end of the day.
Do you believe kwaito should still be seen as a relevant music genre up against the amapianos and all the latest crazes that we're seeing coming out of the various parts of the country?
Yeah, as we had the message before, but now they're all about bragging. So now we're teaching them music is a voice, music heals, music speaks. So that's what the show was all about, to teach the young ones how to respect, because of we're old now, but we're still alive. So they must definitely respect their parents and not forgetting to pray every time.
But let's call a spade a spade. Kwaito stars of past are not the young guns that they used to be. So you've had to evolve as well. How do you think the kwaito music industry, if you can still call it that, should evolve? And how do you think the music industry should approach it? I mean, should we be hearing more kwaito still being played on the radio?
Yeah, we definitely, because of we, the ancestors of the game, they mustn't forget that we come first. So if you don't know where you're heading, where will you go? So definitely we're teaching them, and then, but the mistake that they do, they don't sing good music, but now we're teaching them. You remember when I said Aksafana Gdala, when we enter the houses and ask for happy. So that's why we're still relevant today. So we're all about teaching the youth how to behave.
But the industry is a very difficult one, isn't it? I mean, you've spoken in the past about the difficulties being faced by those who were big in the industry before, perhaps didn't look after themselves as well, or the industry didn't look after them. We know specifically there was a lot of abuse that was taking place with artists in your industry, because it was young people that were coming up and they really didn't know how to navigate that space. What would you have learned from that time when you were perhaps young, you didn't know how to manage businesses, how to manage your brand as
we didn't know by the time, because of we wanted the fame. But we've learned when time goes on that you have to definitely know your rights as a musician. You know, if you don't know your rights, you know, you're not going to go anywhere. So now we're trying to teach them. You must know your rights as a musician. You must take your contract straight to your lawyer so that he can read for you, and then you sign the right contract. So not just because of you want the fame, because you end up saying they robbed you, besides knowing exactly what you were doing. So now I'm saying you must know your rights as a musician.
Is Mapaputsi of today far wiser than he was in the past?
Yes, I'm wiser now because of I know how to handle myself. We don't do drugs. We behave well. You know, that's what I learned about the industry.
I was told that I have to ask you this about, we're talking about how you manage your business off the stage. But on the stage, I was told to ask you specifically, why did you perform with 2 microphones?
Because of sometimes you get the other one is low and then the other one is up. So now they can't hear you. So you end up taking 2 mics so that they can hear you properly.
So that was a practical reason, but then it became part of your on-stage brand?
No, it's not my part. Because it's not a part of my game. Because of, as I've mentioned before, other sounds are not in the good quality. So now when you see that it's not a good quality, take another one, grab another one. But others, they have a good quality. That's why you use one. But if the quality is not well, I take 2. That's my way.
There's a lot of nostalgia when it comes to music. And perhaps, again, let's talk about the age of the fans and how we've changed and the music that we listen to now. But in the last while, we've lost a lot of greats in the industry. You lost a great friend in the late TKC member, Tokolo Shabalala. It is, I suppose, when we deal about issues of life and death, it does give you a moment just to sit back and to reflect and then to plan forward and say, this is not where it's going to end. We're going to keep moving. What kind of impact did that passing of your friend have on you?
My music, it played very well. It played a very major role because I've been teaching music. My music was not just music. Me, when I do my music, I ask my God, what is it that I'm supposed to do? So if God whisper in your ear, you must definitely portray the good message to people. And then now I send the good music, as I said, to liberate the guys like Mandela. Those were the leaders who made us to be who we are today.
You really were the voice of the youth living in changing and tumultuous times in the country at the time. Last a question before we go. So the festival is moved to next month.
Next month.
Who do you believe should come? Obviously, you want the youngsters come.
The youngsters.
They've got the energy for festival. But are you going to have chairs for the older fans so that they can sit down?
Definitely. For the older chairs. But no,
it's a long day.
They're still dancing to our music. That's why I said, let's bring the youth and bring the old guys like us so that we dance together and have fun together. But what makes me happy is because of people who are attending, especially our age, so that they know that, yes, Mapaputsi is still there. We still enjoy his music. That was the plan and came, our plan.
Well, we can only wish you everything the best, especially because you're also supporting local schools who will benefit from you bringing together all of those legends. Thank you so much for your time. Kwaito superstar Mapaputsi live in the studios on this Friday afternoon.